ہائے حسین، ہائے حسین،
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من شر الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على. والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الميامين المنتجبين، واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم كتابه: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. آمنا بالله. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. So our topic is how to prepare a family, prepare a progeny to support our beloved Imam Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. Supporters of Imam Mahdi Al-Qa'im, may Allah hasten his appearance, is not about just saying Labbaika Ya Mahdi verbally and slogans and Allahumma kulli waliyika only. No, those are part and parcel. Those are like dua section. We need to do du'as. We need to do dua nudba. We need to do dua al-ahad. We need to do Allahumma kulli walika. Worst case worse, just let our children recite Allahumma kulli walika al-hujjat ibn al-Hasan salawatuka alayhi wa ala. If you cannot, you don't have time for dua nudba, because the more you bond with Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, the more you are going to feel the sense of preparation from inside. That is the whole thing. So those du'as are important. But as we say, with du'a comes dua. With du'a comes the practice. So for example, you say, Ya Allah, bless me livelihood, give me rizq. Okay, but you don't go put some efforts to earn livelihood. Livelihood is not going to come to you in your house. Okay, you have to put some efforts, take some necessary actions to earn the livelihood. So that is the whole idea of preparation. So we see, mashallah, dua culture is getting stronger. It's very important. Dua culture is a religious culture. It is directed by our ulamas, by our maraja, that by our a'imma. The best of deed is intidharul faraj. Afdalu amal ummati intidharul faraj. To await for the relief, for the appearance. So that kind of awaiting, as I have mentioned previously, there are two types: passive and active. Passive is just do nothing. Active is no, do du'as. That's Allahumma kulli walika type of thing. Then bond, ziyarat of Imam, Salamullah al-Kamil al-Tam, the covenant, pledge of allegiance, Allahumma hadi bay'atun lahu. Ya Sahib al-Zaman, Ya Mahdi, all these kind of communication methods which have been presented by our scholars, alayhi salatu wasalam, echoing what was given to us by our ai alayhi salatu wasalam. So bonding with the Imam. Dua not by ziyarat, and we have abundance narrations narrating that ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, ziyarat. So the idea of ziyarat is there. So we are just applying the ziyarat idea on the dua nutbah and communicating with our Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, because his ziyarat is a bit different type. The ziyarat of the rest of the Imams, they are martyred, so they are in their spiritual realm living, listening to what we say, responding to our salams. Ashhadu annaka tasma'ul kalam wa taruddu salam. I witness that you are listening to my talk and responding to my salam. So, having said that, ziyarat concept is very strong, and in the mode of ziyarat of Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, be it dua nudba, be it salamullah al-kamil al-tam, be it the ziyarat al-yasin, whatever ziyarat you feel that it is going to bond, make a strong bond between you and Imam alayhi salam, do it. Whoever from the creation of Allah says that, oh, this is bid'ah, this is weak, this is that, those are Satan's disguised in a form of human maulanas or mullahs or people, because it is very highly, strongly required in our Islamic teachings to bond with Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. Love Ahlul Bayt. Express whatever indicates your love for Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. You don't need any strong hadith for that. That is ayat of the Quran telling us to express our love. How would you express your love? Draw heart and Cupid and arrows and red heart and Valentine chocolates? No. Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, to express love, to feel their pain, to feel their gladness. Ghadir is a glad day of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. 15 Sha'ban is a glad day. I'm giving you examples. Sad days, the most saddest day for Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam is Ashura. So expression of love of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. This is required. And when we express our gladness in the gladness of Ahlul Bayt, our sadness with the sadness of Ahlul Bayt, and then one of the ways of, if you love someone, you want to communicate with that person. So our love of Ahlul Bayt is expressed through ziyarat. We love ziyarat. Why? Because if we love someone, we like to visit that person. We love Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Those people, they say, we also love Ahlul Bayt. That's fine, we respect you. But not as our love, the way our Imams alayhi salam have taught us. The way our ulamas and maraja since 1,000 years, they have trained us by doing the ziyarat of Imams alayhi salatu wasalam. We love our Imams, we express. Many Sunnis, our Sunni fellows, they love to do ziyarat of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Medina al-Munawwara. Why? They love Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So they express their love with ziyarat. That is not bid'ah. That is not shirk. Did Rasulullah do ziyarat to himself? Is there any hadith? We don't have any practice of, there's no sunnat of Rasulullah visiting himself. Yes, sunnat of Rasulullah is visiting Hamza, visiting the Shuhada of Uhud, visiting the Baqir. So therefore, whoever says don't visit, visiting is bid'ah, visiting, these people are Satans. They don't want you to bond with Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. They don't want you to express your love for Ahlul Bayt, which is commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So anything goes against the command of Allah, it is whatever pleases the Satan. So in this scenario, when we love Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, we love our Imam Mahdi ajjalallahu ta'ala farajul sharif, we express our love by ziyarah. So whatever ziyarah you feel, it is going to establish a strong bond between you and Imam Al-Qa'im ajjalallahu ta'ala. Do it. That's what Allah wants. Don't pay attention to the shaitan or satanic people or the whispers of these humanic satanic people. Min al-jinnati wal nas. So there are Satans from the jinn, Satans from the human. They don't want you to be attached to the Imam. So if you are not attached to the Imam, they will easily deviate you. So therefore, it is very important to express these expressions of our love to Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, to attending the majalis of Imam Hussein, to shedding the tears, to all these kind of things are required and was practiced by our Aimma alayhi salatu, when certain practices were not practiced by our Aimma alayhi salatu, but they are applications of the expression of love, serving the chai in the Imam Barga. Did Rasulullah say? Did Imam Sadiq alayhi salam say? No. But people, they come and they stay nights and lengthy majalis, and so they need some awakening things to keep chai and qahwa and those kind of things there. So it is something which is supporting their way, being awake. So therefore, everything you do, as long as it is not prohibited by Islam and by our maraja, everything you do which expresses your love to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, to Imam Mahdi ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif, it is part and parcel of Ayatul Mawadda, an application of Ayatul Mawadda. So we said that practice du'as and then practices. So what is, because if you say, Ya Allah, cure me, and you don't take the medicine prescribed by a professional doctor, I'm saying professional doctor, nowadays there are Looney Tune doctors as well. You see, they just get salary and they just write you thousands of medicines, you see, whatever in the pharmacy. This pharmacy gives me commission. This company of medicine gives me commission if I prescribe his medicine. That company gives me. I've seen this kind of corruption in many countries. Okay, so the doctor writes prescriptions and he keeps the copies and shows them. See, I wrote your medicine. See, I wrote. So he gets money. So even the doctors, you have to have a trustworthy doctor where there is proper scrutiny in medicine. Otherwise, if you go to sometimes doctors, they give bag full of medicine and they don't tell you the side effects of these medicines. So anyhow, dua and dawa. Yes, we need to take spiritual activities into consideration in order to await for the Imam and to be supporters of our Imam alayhi salam. And we need to take the practical necessities. What are the practical necessities? What is the practical love of Ahlul Bayt? Stay away from haram, do your wajibat. Avoid the prohibited acts and do the obligatory acts upon you. That's what's required basically. The others are icing on the cake. You are in the mood of doing recommended acts, do it. You're not, at least do not come close to haram. Do not think of abandoning your obligations, your wajibat, like salat, fasting, those kind of things, silatul raham, staying away from haram things. So this is how we need to prepare our family, prepare our progeny. That is why when we said that when you select your spouse, look into your spouse. Is he or she committed religiously, doing the obligations, avoiding the prohibited acts? Or at least if he and she has a potential. Like sometimes some girls are not wearing hijab, or some guys are not offering salah. But when the communication happens, these conditions are made. I will only accept to get married to you if you promise to wear hijab willingly, not forcefully. And also, if you are willing to offer salat regularly, willingly, not forcefully. I don't want this marriage to force you. First, make your mind, set your mind, your thought. No, I want to become a hijabi woman, not for the marriage, for the sake of Allah. I want to offer salah, not for the sake of marriage. Because what happens for the sake of marriage? What comes by force goes by force. So you start wearing hijab. And after some time, for the husband, not for Allah, your husband starts to annoy you, problem, difficulties, divorce happens, not to the husband, husband and the religion. I take your hijab with you. I want divorce. So he divorces her, plus she doesn't return the mahar, she returns the hijab. Take this hijab. Keep it with you. How bad that is. That people, they practice religion for the worldly purpose, not for the sake of Allah. For that husband who's going to pray for you, and then when divorces you, leaves the prayer, you don't want that husband. For that wife, if she's going to commit to religion because of you, and she's going to leave the religion, if you leave her, you don't want that kind of wife. That's not how you will prepare your progeny, because you are going to prepare progeny like that kind of husband or that kind of wife. The maslahati, the one who are greedy, they have material purpose, material needs. So that is not the way you prepare the progeny for Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. So for the sake of preparing the progeny, you need to find a taqwa person. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhan nas inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha. O people, we have created you from male and female. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلًا, and we made you tribes and communities, okay? And then nations and tribes, communities, big communities. Shu'ub means big, Qabila is small group of people, Sha'b is a nation, big group. So we made you in big groups and small groups, through what? Through communication. So that لِتَعَارَفُوا, so that you may know each other, not fight each other. The variances are there to respect each other's variances, to appreciate each other's variances, not to fight with each other. Inna akramakum indallahi. But who's the most honorable among you? The white people, the black people, the colored people, the yellow people, I don't know, whatever colors of people, the red people you have. No, there is no supremacy of a race over race, unless if you go to Bible, you will find there that the white race has supremacy over the black race and the yellow or the colored race, which made them, gave them a good excuse to occupy the lands of black people and white people through the past centuries. So that is based on biblical direction, not in Islam. Islam tells us there is no difference between Arab, non-Arab, white, black. Everyone is equal in sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what distinguishes a black from white and white from colored and all these distinguishing? Excuse me. So what distinguishes between sorry about that. So what is a criteria of distinguishing a person from another person? The criteria is only one criteria, not the gender, not the race, not the ethnicity. One and one criteria: how much love of God you have in your heart, how much taqwa you have in your heart. That is the main criteria which we are supposed to observe. But this criteria is difficult to observe. Why? Because many times we see people from outside, they have the best of taqwa, like Khawarij, the ones who murdered Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, but from inside they have evil. And from inside they're Satans. And the same thing you see that were those people who killed and martyred Imam Hussein. They were the hypocrites of this ummah. They were saying that we are Muslims, but from inside they did not hesitate to martyr the son of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the children of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that kind of the apparent taqwa is not a criteria, internal. So, but we don't know that who has the internal taqwa or not, because as they say in Urdu, dil ka hal sirf khuda janta hai. The whatever is in the heart is only known by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And taqwa is embedded or supposed to be embedded in the heart. So we cannot judge people and say you are muttaqi and you are muttaqi. We can say apparently that person is pious and righteous, as God loving, because we can see from his actions, but God knows best. Wallahu a'lam. So therefore we have to respect every peaceful human being. That is the direction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That lakum dinukum waliyadin. To you is your religion, and to me is my religion. Yes, if there are evil murderers who are oppressors, they are apparently oppressors. If there was any taqwa inside them, they would not have murdered innocent people. They would not have killed innocent people. They would not have oppressed innocent people if little bit of taqwa was there inside. But if the action, sometimes some actions, they show us there is no taqwa at all in that person, be it a he or a she. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to choose a spouse who doesn't have any evil inclinations, who have apparent taqwa, and that his or her practices indicate that this person is muttaqi. Either muttaqi totally, either he has a potential, he or she is in a way of becoming the best of people. So therefore, it is very important for our youngsters, our youth who are planning to get married, and their marriage, they want to keep it as a project to support our Imam Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. They need to observe yeah, I mean, you can have a lot of criterias when choosing a spouse. You want educated, you can get educated over someone is ignorant. You can get someone who has money, who has no money, who has all these are secondary criterias, but the primary criteria, the pillars, the pillars are these 5 pillars which I mentioned to you. These pillars are the 5 pillars. Okay, the rest is decoration, the rest is icing on the cake. The first pillar, the taqwa, the love of God. Second is he or she observing patience. The third is, does he and she have this nature of forgiving and pardoning and forgetting. And the fourth, duties and responsibilities, which is going to be our talk in our upcoming session. So basically, the patience and this taqwa, these, if the husband and wife, if father and mother, they have this nature of patience, the progeny comes out observing patience. And as I mentioned that many people, they get tired, exhausted from this life, they just think of committing suicide. If you are a Muslim, no, 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 not only Muslim. If you are a Shia Muslim, no, 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 not only a Shia Muslim. If you are a Shia practicing Muslim, no, 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 not only a Shia practicing Muslim. If you are a Shia if you're Shia practicing Husseini Muslim, Zainabi Muslima, then you will never think about committing suicide. Look at the bala, the tribulation, the problems they befell on Imam Hussein and Zainab alayhi salatu wasalam. The caravan leaves Medina. They live in peace. Not, it was not entire peace because there was a threat to kill Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam in Medina before he leaves. They don't want Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam because all the narrations from the Sunni school of thought and Shia school of thought, they indicate that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave a prediction that Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam will be martyred where? In Karbala, in Ashura, on the day of Ashura. So the predictions are there. So what will happen? That they don't want, because Ashura is going to be a turning point. So they want to stop that Ashura. They want Imam Hussein to be killed before he goes anywhere and collects supporters. So they want to kill Imam Hussein alayhi salam in Medina. So there was a threat. Where should Imam Hussein alayhi salatu salam go? So when leaving Medina al-Munawwara, Imam Hussein alayhi salam gathers his family members. And while they are being prepared, Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam is very disturbed, and he doesn't know what to do, what will happen, where to go. Everywhere there are enemies. The whole government is surrounded by the enemies. The enemies in Medina, enemies in Mecca, enemies in Kufa, everywhere enemies. The only safe place he could think of, the letters which came to Imam Hussein alayhi salatu salam, and those letters Imam Hussein alayhi salatu took it into consideration and sent Muslim ibn Aqil to Kufa, to Iraq, to see whether the people of Iraq are committed or not committed to whatever they have given the pledge and they have promised Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. So there Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam leaves Medina al-Munawwara with very sadness. He farewells the grave of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with sadness, the place of birth of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, the place which carries so many memories with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the Prophet playing with Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, the Prophet allowing Imam Hussein alayhi salam to ride on his back while he's praying, while he's playing. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam gives all the love to Imam Hussein. Those memories are there, those beautiful memories. It is very difficult for Imam Hussein alayhi salam to leave Medina al-Munawwara with those precious and beloved memories of his great grandfather Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. What Imam Hussein does when he prepares the family, the caravan moves to Makkah al-Munawwara, Makkah al-Mukarrama, and the caravan moves where the women are covered. The camels, they have those camel chambers where the women they sit inside, and from four sides there are curtains. These chambers are covered. So Zainab alayhi salatu Islam is covered. Kulthum is covered, wife of Abul Fadl al-Abbas is there, Ali Akbar, all the women who are related to the family of Imam Hussein alayhi salam are all there, and they are leaving towards Makkah al-Mukarramah with all the dignity and respect. The caravan where women are in the middle surrounded by their brave men like Abul Fadl al-Abbas and Imam Hussein leading, and Ali Akbar. They're all front and back. No one can breach this caravan and come and touch. Forget about touching, even look at the women, the daughters of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. And this is when the caravan left Medina al-Munawwara. Bless the heart of Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. When he left Medina al-Munawwara, he was in a very dignified condition. He was young. The father is there. Ali Akbar is there. Abul Fadl al Abbas is there. They're all there. But when Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam comes back to Medina al Munawwara, he sends a poet to Medina al Munawwara and tells them, "O people of Medina, do not welcome us." Why? Because whenever the beloved ones they leave their hometown, they leave with grief. Like Imam Hussein alayhi salam, when he left Medina al Munawwara, people of Medina were in grief, they were in pain for Imam Hussein departing Medina. Zainab alayhi salam, women of Medina, they were grieving on this depart. But when people they come back, normally they are welcomed with greetings, with happiness, with joyness, with all kind of malicious feeling, and they beat them like all kind of great feelings of happiness and joy. They welcome those people who left and they come back to their hometown. However, Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam is not in such mood that when he comes into Medina, people they welcome Imam Zainul Abidin with joy. Neither is Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam. After all this journey of pain and miseries and troubles and difficulties and hardship and torture, they come back in what mood they are going to be welcomed? They don't want to be welcomed with greetings, with joys, with happiness. So Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam camped outside of Medina and sent Bishr to tell the people of Medina, that we are not in a good mood to be welcomed the way normally people welcome their beloved ones who return. But here, when Bibi Zainab alayhi salatu wasalam enters Medina al-Munawwara, and Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam enters Medina al-Munawwara, they go to the grave of Rasulullah, but without Imam Hussein alayhi salam. They go to the grave of Fatima az-Zahra alayhi salam without Bibi Zain, without Imam Hussein, without the beloved ones of Fatima az-Zahra, without the 3-year-old daughter of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. In that mode, it has been narrated that Kulthum, she expressed all the things which happened while entering Medina al-Munawwara. So, so Kulthum mentions in her poetry, which is narrated to her, that when she enters Medina al Munawwara, she sees how Zainab alayhi salatu salam feels, and she sees how Imam Zainul Abidin, she sees how they are in pain and they are in suffering. So here, Kulthum says, Medina tajaddina la taqbalina. Oh, the city of our grandfather, do not welcome us. And she means that the welcoming of the way normally people do when their beloved ones come back. Why? Because we have come. فَبِالْحَسَرَاتِ وَالْأَحْزَانِ جِينَا. We have come with all the pain and agony and lots of wounds in our heart we have come. O Medina of Rasulullah, tell Rasulullah that our father, we are grieving on our father, severe grieving, and our men, they were left in Karbala, and they were beheaded without their heads, the bodies were there. And tell also our grandfather, they slaughtered our children like Ali Asghar was slaughtered. And then, oh Rasulullah, oh our city of Medina, tell Rasulullah, after that we became captives. We did not have anything to cover our head. And then, oh Rasulullah, your children, they were after they were martyred. No one respected your progeny. After our men were martyred, our children were martyred. They were slaughtered. Hussein was slaughtered. They kept us on their bare camels. And then people were looking at us from every place. We were treated humiliatedly. Eyes of people are staring at us. Oh Rasulullah, after we were in dignified condition, we were covered. No one could see our shadow. Now the enemies are surrounding us and they are staring at us, your enemies. Oh Rasulullah, O Rasulullah, your daughters were taken from place to place. And then Kulthum addresses Fatima az-Zahra. أفاطم لو نظرت إلى السبايا بناتك في البلاد مشتتين. Oh Fatima, do you know what happened to your children? I wish that you would have seen your children, your daughters, they were captives, they were taken into these countries and they were scattered. Oh Fatima, if you have seen Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, you would have been baffled. What happened to Imam Zainul Abidin? Oh Fatima, if you have seen our sleepless nights, we almost were blinded because lack of sleepness. Fatima, do you know what your enemies did to us? They snatched our earrings. Oh, Fatima, if you have seen all this, you would have cried and grieved upon us until the day of judgment. Yes, this was the condition of Ali Rasul, of daughters of Rasulullah, daughters of Fatima al-Zahra, when they returned to Medina al-Munawwara. Wa musibatah, wa madlumah, wa husaynah. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين والعاقبة للمتقين إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون.
آئے حسین